Shed2Ed episode 40, UFC 299. We got Sean O'Malley main eventing against Chito Vera for episode 40 here on Shed2Ed.
Let's go. This is going to be a bigger card than UFC 300, so we're out here for this.
We
Let's
are
go.
out here.
Big Marlon fan over here. I can't wait for him to knock out Sean O'Malley.
No. He already has done it once, so that's making the line a bit messier. O'Malley is still a first-round pick for me.
Yeah, for good reason. He is the champ.
Your first pick is a guy I've never heard of, this Azu Alma guy.
That is correct. Azu Almabayev. He is definitely a guy that I have not heard of, but I was leaning with the line here. He's like minus 1,000, so let's go with Azu on this one. CJ Vergara hasn't done very much to install very much confidence in anybody lately, so I'm just rolling with Azu on this one.
3-2 against mid to low level competition, we'll say, in the UFC for CJ Vergara.
Yeah. Can't knock him for a loss against Tatsuro Taira. He's been bowling over everybody in his way, but that's it.
My first pick of the week is Sean O'Malley. Yeah, he's got a loss to Chito Vera. I don't care.
Hey, don't ask Sean that, because Sean says he's undefeated.
He's undefeated.
That loss
okay.
to Marlon Vera does not count in his mind.
Sean says the loss to Marlon Vera does not count. I tend to agree with Sean, and I'm taking him in the draft this week.
I'm excited to see a rematch because, these are two electric fighters here now. If anybody stands a chance against Sean O'Malley, it could be a guy like Chito Vera. He's a complete fighter, whereas Sean O'Malley is largely considered just a striker here now. So kind of wonder if that's going to get to the ground or not, or if Chito's going to eat it trying to get it down there.
I don't think Chito's ever been stopped. I don't think he's ever been subbed. So I guess we're leaning long with this one. We're leaning towards the decision. I've seen a few people try to pick the over for this fight, try to take Sean by decision. I'm just sticking with Sean money line.
Yeah, for the draft, of course.
Second round picks, our Polish friend Matthias Gamrot and Marina Moroz against Joanne Wood. Joanne Wood, how far the mighty has fallen. She was supposed to be in line for a title shot, and now she's just tumbling out of the rankings. And Gamrot has real game opposition in RDA this week.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see Gamrot against RDA. RDA obviously has fallen off a little bit in the last few fights, and Gamrot's pretty much just as good as he's ever been here now. So we do see that reflected on the line. Gamrot's still like minus 400 or so on this one against the legend of RDA. So
I think the gas tank of RDA is met its match in Gamrot. Gamrot is going to have no issue going 5 rounds. We've seen in the past, RDA does not do well with this specific stylistic matchup. It's probably going to be a lot of just receiving end of control time against the cage, down, up, down, up. We're going to see some mat returns, maybe not full-blown takedowns, but just Gamrot is just going to be leaning on him, I think, for probably the better part of 7-8 minutes in this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a big round 1 and probably early round 2 strategy for Gamrot, just to grab onto him, clench him up, wear him out against the cage, see if you can unleash a little bit in round 3 and really fly away with the scorecards there. But we only have 3 rounds here now, so maybe RDA's tank will be able to last a little bit, but depends on how efficiently Gamrot can get in the clinch and really work him out.
Kind of counting on RDA to land something with the striking, though. He's going to have to get a pretty decent shot in if we want to see him sneak around. If he doesn't manage to land anything on Gamrot, I don't think RDA's got a path to victory.
I can't believe that this is a prelim fight.
This is a stacked up card, dude. The prelims are stacked up.
I don't understand how that is a prelim fight. That's wild. UFC 299, man.
No, 299 is stacked, man. This is just a prelim fight on this card. You could easily see this headlining a fight night.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Moving on to round 3. Took a shot in the dark on this random guy that I don't know. Rebellis.
Let's go.
Rebellis de España.
Rebellis
Cuban Olympian.
The AI voice to chat doesn't know how to figure out his name. I think it's Robeli de Spain. We're going to find out when Bruce announces it this weekend.
We are going to find out. What I did find out was he's a Taekwondo fighter, a bronze medalist from the 2012 Olympics.
He's big,
who's coming
He's
back.
Big guy.
He is a big guy. Not even a first round knockout artist, a first minute knockout artist. So he's just going to be coming out here swanging on Josh Parisian. And, it's easy enough to fade Josh Parisian because he hasn't beaten anybody that's had a UFC win. So he's 2-4 in the UFC. 2 of his wins are against guys that are 0-3 in the UFC. But I guess the stage is set. So if he beats Robelis or Robelli or someone in his debut, he would keep it on track with beating guys with 0 UFC wins. But
you see 2 types of guys debuting, and we know that guys who make their debut usually lose. In general, like, debuting in the UFC is really difficult to do. That being said, Josh Parisian is getting no respect from anybody. This line is blowing up, probably to -500 territory.
Yeah, I'm absolutely not going to bet on this at all. In fact, I got a little bit of insurance on Josh going the other way because it is a veteran going up against an absolute rookie. This guy is 4-0 in MMA, making his debut. He has one round. He has 5 minutes of cage time in MMA, and we expect him to be a -400, -500 favorite in the UFC. It smells kind of fishy to me. I'm gonna draft him and kind of forget about it, but I'm not leaning on him for any bets at all.
Let's say Josh survives the first 5 minutes. We've seen Josh lose the decision. I've had money on Josh recently, and he just doesn't get it done in there. So we could just see Robelli rack up 15 good minutes of cage time.
I gotta wonder about Robelli's gas tank. What's it like? We don't know yet.
And that's the only thing keeping him from blowing into -1000 territory. It's just the lack of cage time. Other than that, we could see the odds even crazier on this fight. We also got Peter on the card. Sean O'Malley has beaten Peter, and he's fighting Song Yadong. Now, Pete's record does not look hot. Like, he's like 1-4 in his last 5, 1-5 in his last 6, something like that.
Yeah, 1-4 in his last 5, including split decision losses, 2 of them. That Sean O'Malley fight was closer than you think.
It was a very close fight. So Peter's been on the losing end of these decisions. I think he's going to get back in the cage, and he's going to get the win against Song Yadong. 3 rounds, not going to play to Song's favor. Peter's probably going to come out very aggressive. I don't think he's going to get caught. I think he was a little bit robbed in at least a couple of those losses. The Merab ones, whatever. Merab's going to be champ next week. So,
yeah, pretty much. The Merab one was justified. I had money on Yan, so I was a little bit salty about it at the time, but I mean, Merab put forward like a legendary performance against Petr Yan there just to show who he really is. The one against Sean O'Malley, I did not like.
Deeper into the draft, though, we're down to round 4 now, looking at Macy Barber for you, and I took Hulk Kutalaba. No respect being put on Barber's takedown game. So you really think she's going to get it done on the feet, or will she actually score that takedown against Blonde Fighter?
I'm just taking trajectory on this one. Macy Barber, Macy the Future Barber. Ian who? She's about 10 years younger than the Blonde Fighter that she's going up against, which I gotta say, worst nickname in the league. I don't know. I like Macy Barber enough for a 4th round pick. You know, deep draft. This is a big card.
We see Phil Linz down to 205. Phil got pieced up by Tanner Bozer, who got pieced up by Hulk. So the MMA math is just there for me to take Kutalaba.
Moving on down to round 5, we got Kyler Phillips over Pedro Munoz, and you took Kevin Holland over Michael Venom Page.
I've been following Michael Venom just a little bit, enough to see him lose against good fighters, and I think Kevin Holland is that good a fighter.
Yeah, it makes sense. Pedro Munoz has not been winning very much lately, but look at his opponents. He's been fighting top 5, top 10 opponents consistently.
Round 6, we got Benoit Saint Denis. You are fading Dustin Poirier this week. And we got Jack Della Maddalena. I'm fading Gilbert Burns. I think Gilbert's going to drop back-to-back fights. But a lot of people are taking Gilbert. They think his wrestling is just going to get the job done this week.
I like Gilbert. You know, to be honest, I like Dustin Poirier as well. I was kind of just leaving them both on the card. Just waiting for you to pick up one or the other. Ended up having to take Saint Denis because I'm not going to take a plus 150 dog on the draft just yet. But I do like Dustin to win this one. This is a huge leap up in competition for Benoit Saint Denis, but he is yet to lose in the UFC. He's been blazing the trail, man. 5 in a row in the UFC over the last couple of years. We drafted his debut. You know, he's a Shed2Ed veteran now. But I didn't picture him being up against the competition level of, say, the likes of Dustin Poirier just yet. Don't know if he's ready. he would be the kind of guy that would be ready. However, he's a tough motherfucker. I'm glad that you took Jack Della Maddalena because I am riding Gilbert Burns, both in the draft and now in the bets as well. So
yeah, so look for me to just be the only guy in the Jack DM corner, but I like Jack. I like what I've seen out of him. I think he's got room to grow. Gilbert, again, I'm not just fading age. I think Gilbert's going to lose this fight. I think he's going to he's not going to show up.
That's an interesting take. Someone's got to be washed away somewhere in this UFC 299. Not everybody can show out, so
this is the last 2 rounds of draft as well.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see Jailton Almeida and Curtis Blades as a pick'em. I was leaning Almeida the whole time, but I was kind of taking it towards the end just to see what was going to go on there. But I like Almeida. I like his skills, his different skill set. He brings something new to the heavyweight division. I know Curtis Blades got good wrestling background. He's got good ground game, good skills there. So we can see this one maybe go the whole way. Jailton maybe lying on top of him and getting reversed, back and forth for the 3 rounds of this. What do you think?
I think that Jailton doesn't have the striking. I think his stock went down after he fought Black Beast. And I think that Curtis will beat him on the feet and he will not be threatened on the ground. That's my initial take. I think heavyweights, it's going to be a bit more work to lock up a submission. We saw Andrei Arlovsky get tapped by Tom Aspinall recently. That's the only really recent case I can think of a proper heavyweight submission. Volkov got blown over. Again, Tom Aspinall submission. I don't really see a submission blowing out of this fight. I think it's going to be more wrestling and get-ups, and they're going to take their time.
Yeah, we seen Rosenstrike get a win last week. He got choked out by Jailton in some random fight night where Jailton was like minus 1,000.
Oh yeah, we did. We saw that Rosenstrike got tapped by Jailton. That's right.
Yeah, but Curtis is a lot more skilled than Rosenstrike, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think this will be an over. I think we're going to go over in this fight. I don't think we're going to get under. I think we might hit the scorecards. Yeah. Who's fighting Lord Olekchechuk?
Michelle Pahea?
Michelle, that is a weird matchup, and Lord's a big dude, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be a funny one. He's gonna put on a show, man. He's gonna be out there doing some wacky shit for the crowd.
I don't know, man. Oleg hits hard. I think Olekchechuk could put Michelle out. I think Michelle could get caught, and I don't know if he's ready for that.
He could, but I think he's still gonna be out doing it, just walking around the cage and doing some backflips or some shit.
Didn't Pereira fight down at 170, and didn't Oleg fight it up at 205? I think that these guys are meeting in the middle. I think Oleg's going down a weight class, and Pereira's coming up.
I wouldn't be surprised because they didn't look similar at all, and I was leaning Oleg as well. I almost took him in the draft 2 rounds ago, but I kind of that's when I took Benoit Saint Denis.
You took main event does not hit the scorecard, Steve. Are you leaning Chito?
I did. You know I'm leading Chito. I don't know if I'm going to bet on him because I actually want him to win. And if I bet on him, it's going to be cursed. But I like the main event stoppage. 2 of these guys are killers. Chito can win by knockout or by sub. Sean O'Malley, he's got that knockout power. But we're still at bantamweight. We're still at 135. We got a couple of guys that might take their time, feel each other out for the first couple of rounds, see what might land later on, set up some feints, set up some this, that, whatever. If Chito can get it down to the ground, he might grind out a round there. So I can definitely see this going long. It's pretty much a pick-em for if it's going to go the distance or not. I like it to go short. I think Sean's going to try and put a stamp on it, or avenge his loss to Chito in a proper way, showing that he really is, undefeated at bantamweight. But I like it as stoppage.
I can get down to it. These guys are going to try to hurt each other. I don't sense any trepidation. I think they're going to try to engage. I don't think this is going to be a point fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Chito kind of makes it a point fight sometimes, but he's not afraid to kind of give up striking numbers. As long as he doesn't get clipped, then he's going to stay up. But
he's got to deal with the power of Sean, though. He's
dangerous.
Not fighting Rob Font. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I could see this one not going the distance.
That's last pick of the week. That's for honors to go first next week.
That's episode 40 of Shed2Ed. Tune in on Saturday. Let's watch some fights.
Let's watch some fights.